YouTube comments. Freedom of speech. Thank you, YouTube, for allowing me to express how I feel about certain issues that may exist in the United States of America. And actually, I'd like to say to you all that are listening, maybe you want to listen to what I got to say, maybe you won't. And that's the problem that we have today. No one really wants to listen to anything you have to say. And generally speaking, and I say that because there are too many people that are talking about the issues that exist today. There's just way too many people. I mean, you have these candidates, Republicans and Democrats. I mean, but we already know, we didn't pick them. We didn't choose these candidates. Who chose them? I mean, I didn't choose them. I don't know who chose these people to come up and run for presidency. Over the years, who chose the people to run for the rule of one of the most powerful countries in America, which we already know doesn't matter really who you are, your issues really won't get done depending on who you are. And we already know that the last president issues was not, or was just shot down. And they say it was shot down by, what was it, Congress, the Senate? I know I look at, what is it called, E-SPAN, whatever that is. I do look at that sometimes, E-SPAN. And it's amazing to me who I see sitting out there voting on these issues. And generally speaking, when you have someone in charge of the United States of America that's, I say over 70 or 80. I mean, 60, when you have someone that is of Caucasian descent running a country that's over 67 years old, in a country that, annihilated the Indians, destroyed the Indians, killed the Indians, and had slavery or whatever. These people's parents and grandparents and great-grandparents were the ruler of that time. So the people that's sitting on Capitol Hill are pretty much older European descent people. I'm not saying that I don't know, I really haven't seen too many other race of people sitting on the Senate or Congress. But you have, I did see on C-SPAN, not E-SPAN, I said C-SPAN, C-SPAN. I watched C-SPAN before. And if you look at these people voting on these issues, they pretty much are older Caucasian people. Older Caucasian men. I don't see too many women sitting up on the Senate. I don't see too many women. I ain't saying there isn't female congressmen, but I'm talking about those that's sitting up there, no, yay, sitting up there turning down certain issues on C-SPAN. And most of those people I see doing this are older Caucasian men. And like I say, 70 or 80 years old, 65, 55, your father, I'll say your great-grandfather was probably a slave master. And these values has been instilled on you over the years. So you still hold this hereditary gene of denying prosperity for the poor, much less the African-American male in the United States of America, because we know that was the main thing that your forefathers did, was oppress other races, but most definitely, the African-American male that was held in bondage and slavery for 200 or 300 years. But slavery is just beyond that. They also had other races of people in bondage and also destroyed, almost eradicated a race, the Native Americans. So when you have people in power whose ancestors did this, controlled this, profit from this, lived it every day, breathed it every day. What do you think they're going to be doing today on Capitol Hill? That's why nothing is happening. These people up there on that power, and then they have allowed corporate America to come in and say, yeah, let's keep them poor. Let's let all of us make the money. I mean, I'm sure that's a large scale of slavery. It's just a new millennium slavery. The black man is in bondage in the jails. I mean, I'm just saying, and generally speaking, that the people that are in charge of our country are descendants of masters, slave owners, slave traders. They are the descendants of these people that did this without a blink of an eye. And they go home and look at their forefathers and their album book and know what they do, what they have done. And they come back on, not come here, but be born years and years later of generations of this hate generation of Caucasian people that exist. And they say that we need to know our heritage and everything. I mean, we know that, that they enslaved, went over and brought, they had slaves, and not just African American, but they had a bunch of slaves, but, the African American was enslaved, and you didn't know your history. You need to know the history of the people that enslaved you, that are in charge today. They forefathers were the owners of all this tyranny and not recognizing another human being as a human being. And that's why nothing's never going to change unless we revamp and now I'm going to say get rid of, I'm not going to say hope die off, but I hope that you're not training your grandchildren today to be the way your forefathers were. I hope you're not training your grandchildren in 2015, you that are sitting up there on Capitol Hill, the Senate, the Congress, the House Speaker, whoever you are that's passing these laws, no, yay. And on C-SPAN, hope you're not telling your grandchildren when you go home, when you have Christmas, when you have Thanksgiving, that you must oppress the poor. You must oppress and just rise up and make more money than everybody and take everything you can get from those that are in favor of your views because of financial profits. Because that's all you did back then. It was based on financial profit. Slavery was based on financial profit. You enslave somebody, a race, or you enslave a person so that you can have free labor. So today, corporate America has presented that idea on a new millennium level that whereas though we are slaves. And they are running it because their forefathers did it. So when you have some billionaires saying, oh man, no, I don't want to pay no taxes, but I tell you what, my lobbyists will give you this money for your campaign this year. So pass this law so that minimum wage does not rise. Pass this law so that I don't have to regulate my business. Pass this law. Those are the same people that enslaved, slaughtered Native Americans and enslaved millions of people for hundreds of years. So when you look at the all-out picture, those that on Capitol Hill are doing the same thing their forefathers did. It's just been put back on a level of the new millennium. Whenever you sit back and have politicians coming out and saying, good Lord, the corporate America done hoodwinked the United States government. They had a 40-year plan to come in and to eradicate the middle class. They planned this. That sounds like slavery to me. That sounds like slavery. When you sit back and you plan a way that you can build a railroad, a way that you can farm cotton free. That sounds like the same thing to me. It don't seem no different to me. Those elderly people sitting on the Senate and Congress and those that are a little bit elder, I say this because you have the new generation of Caucasian people that sees this and has sympathy for what has happened in the past. These younger generations are joined together, and they really want to make change. I'm saying on the Caucasian level, we already know that we want change, but because we know in the United States of America, change is gonna have to come upon the Caucasian persuasion. And once we get rid of some of these older people that are running our country, I ain't gonna say just die off. I don't want to say that's such a bad thing, but just die off, and maybe the United States of America may change for economic equality. The United States of America may change the tactics of the way a police officer may approach a citizen. The United States may change this drug conglomerate that exists, in America. They may change this bank thing that's going on where, they are controlling and predicting interest rates and all this other stuff. It may change because the younger generation of Caucasian persuasion see it, and they are learning some of the stuff that has happened that their own mama and father and great-grandfather did and see that it was wrong. So let's try to do something about this, and hopefully we may be a better race of people as a whole United States race. Not as an individual race, but as the United States, the symbol of the USA symbol. Bring that back.